Hey guys, welcome to another episode of LFA Shop. This week I've got some huge workshop updates, which are right there and super exciting, but then you'll have to wait till about the middle of the video for those, because we're going to fix a Rodeo for a guy that I work with. Let's get into it. So here it is. So this is a Workmates daily. The front is pretty bent and we need to see how bent before we work out if we're going to part this thing out or if we're going to repair it. So he's had this thing since new as far as I know. It's got 450,000 Ks on it and it just drives like a dream. So he puts this thing around. So what I want to do is rip this bumper off, which is stopping the bonnet from opening. And then we can see the rails and see how bent all of this stuff is, because currently the guards push back and kind of stopping the door from opening. So bull bar off, bonnet open, take the guards off, headlights have to get replaced and stuff if we're going to go that way anyway. So we just kind of need a parts list of what to get to fix this thing. So I'll rip this bull bar off and see what it looks like. So before I even got started, slight distraction. So the tray just sold, so the guy's bringing his truck in, so I had to clear all this stuff, move everything 1,000 times so we can get the truck in there, put the tray on top, and then I can move all this stuff back to where it was. Alright, so the rattle gun is in that shed and I've just stacked everything against the front of that shed, so that's not going to happen. So I'm going to have to use a breaker bar, which is going to be a bit painful, but let's try and get this bull bar off. So the bull bar is fighting me big time, but I managed to get it loose and actually just rock it forwards. So it could go back on. It's a bit bent, but it could go back on. But I did manage to bend it out of the way enough to get the bonnet open. So now we can rip all this stuff apart because it's all pretty broken and see how much damage is actually in there underneath all these panels. With a bit of cutting and grinding, the bumper is off. Pull the grill out. Everything's actually pretty straight. So he's going to need a bull bar if we can't use the one we've got. A bonnet, a grill, pair of indicators. This bit's a little bent, but we can ignore that. A guard for this side. And that's honestly about it. There's really not a whole lot actually damaged on this thing. So should be good to go with a few quick parts. Also the tray's gone, so that's good. So the truck's moved over there now and there's just chaos everywhere. So I'm going to clean up and I'll wait for some parts for this thing and we'll get back into it. So while we're waiting for some parts to come in for the Rodeo, I'm going to show you around the shed and show you the upgrade. But improvement number one, I got a hoist. There's a Daihatsu on it, but I got a hoist, which is excellent. So this thing I got from a mate of mine. Thank you very much to Luke. So he had it for probably a year or two maybe, but used it probably a dozen times. So it just sat like this for a really long time. So it's very much unused. It is a 4-ton asymmetric or symmetric hoist. So the arms are different just a little bit, but in the way that it's set up, it is symmetric. So it's all really good. That is at full height there, and I can walk under it. Luckily, I'm pretty short. Well, not luckily, but conveniently, I am a bit short. So fits in the shed nicely. It is off center, which means I need to address this roll wheel situation sooner rather than later. But with the little cars, I can get them in and out still. So that's not too bad. But I think when I go to get the truck in here, I'm going to have a whole world of hurt. So you might have noticed on the floor, I've added a bit of branding. That's just spray paint through a template that I had. That's so that it'll be in a lot more clips. We've got that guy over there. If by chance I happen to have a popular video, there's branding everywhere onto the workshop part of the shed. The vise actually bolted down. It's been like 3 years. It's actually bolted down now. Drill press actually bolted down. Wow, that's exciting. Put a TV up on the roof. No way to power it or interact with it, but it's up there. Got a little remote holder that I made that needs to go on the wall. Just little jobs that I keep putting off is all this is. Then coming over to the second half of the workshop area, I need to do something with all these map drawers and make it a bit nicer. But we've got the 2 bench grinders actually bolted down now, bolted to the ground, new stands. Got a big old sign up here, which I really like. Unfortunately, these all drooped when they were drying, so I'll have to redo those at some point. There is a light behind them, and I thought it'd be really cool because you'd be able to see it all illuminated and stuff. But unless I do that, you can't really see it, and you can't really see it anyway. So I'll probably just take that light out and ignore it. But a parts washer, which is all hooked up now, so that's actually working, which is awesome. So now I've got a bunch of improvements. We've got the lathe, which is nice and accessible now, rather than moving everything 100 times. And it's all just a whole lot better. There's obviously still stuff everywhere, but I'm getting there. Now, I don't want to climb up there because it's a pain in the bum, but the mezzanine front section is done on this side. I need to do the other side, and then there'll be a middle section. So this is about half of the number plates I've got, which means I'll be able to do similar to that size on that side. The mezzanine on this side is full of parts, so it's all organized. That side is almost full, and you can see the molding and stuff up here for the race car that needs to go into that side, which is going to be quite a pain. So I need to finish this guy off and put the door in and stuff. But now that the hoist is here, I know where that door is going to clear. So that will be another job for another day. But the office is coming along slowly. Just on that note, if you do have any number plates you'd like to donate, hit me up on Instagram or in the comments, and I might grab them off of you. As for outside the shed, it's quite a mess. So I've cut all of the steel down, cut all the ends off so it's a bit more stackable. And then there's a bit more over there, which is going to get stacked. This stuff needs to get moved. There's just a lot of moving and cleaning to do out here. But the tray for the truck is sold, so I can put the truck there for now. I was hoping to put it in the shed, but now with the hoist it's awkward. And we're all just, everything's kind of cleaning up, but it's just taking a lot of time. If I continue with this trend and stop buying stuff and keep moving and selling things, it should be nice and tidy, hopefully pretty soon. So that's it for the upgrades on the shed for now. I'm super excited to get into the hoist and start using all these new tools that are set up. There is a bunch more upgrades to come, but it is all slow progress, of course. Now, if you'd like to help the channel, please head over to the merch shop. The link is in the description. Pick yourself up a shirt, a lanyard, an air freshener, or some stickers. Let's go fix the rest of this Rodeo. So we're back. It's been a few days, and I've got a grill, a guard, and a bonnet. So Phil that owns this car, he did all the running around and got me some parts. And then I've got the indicators to go back on. So I've got everything except for the bumper or bull bar, whatever we end up finding. The old one was pretty bent, so that's gone in the bin. So we're hoping we can get just a stock bull bar, or stock bumper bar, sorry, and finish this thing off. So I'm going to put the indicators in and get this grill on and stuff, and just start piecing this thing back together. Okay, so I've chucked this indicator on, and everything lines up nicely, so that confirms that this guard is pretty well in the same spot. It might be a little bit bent, but it's pretty good. So now I need to put the other guard on, the other indicator, and I can put the grill in, and then we can get this bonnet lined up. And then that's all the parts I've got, so hopefully that doesn't take too long. So I got a bit distracted. We got the guard on most of the way. I've adjusted the door so that it doesn't rub anymore, which is nice. This gap's reasonable. It's not great, but given that I moved the door this way, I can't really get it much better than that. All of this is all bolted in. I just got to do some bolts inside the guard, I think, and then we're good to go. So now I just need to swap the bonnet over, because all the grill's done. I've put in what clips I had, and I've put in what zip ties I needed to. So it's nice and sturdy. It's just a little bit filthy, really. So bonnet will be next when I've got another pair of hands. And then we still need to find a bumper. A little bit of messing around, but it all fits pretty well now. The bonnet sits a little lower than the guards. So I'm thinking that front panel might be just tweaked just ever so slightly, because the whole bonnet lines up at the back, and then it slowly gets misaligned towards the front, and then we're talking probably 5mm. I've adjusted the latch all the way up, which did pretty much nothing, and I've adjusted the bonnet rubbers, which has lifted it a little bit because this one was heaps lower. You can see on the previous car it was rubbing on the grill, so it's all down as best it can be. Guards all bolted up, mud flap back on. That guard alignment's not horrible. It's not wonderful, but it's not horrible, and it does pop and open nicely. So that's pretty much it for now. We need to get that bumper bar. I've just chucked the number plate on there, just in case we need to put this on the street or whatever. But for now, that's going to have to wait until we get a bumper. So after I got the whole front end back together, the hunt was on for a bumper bar. Now this was way harder than it needed to be to find all the brackets and everything. Currently I don't have the indicators, but I do have the plastic bumper and the 2 mounts to go with it. So let's get into that and put the bumper on this thing and call it done. All right, we finally got a bumper and the brackets and the indicators and everything. It all fits up reasonably well. There's a bit of massaging to get the brackets to hold the plastic bumper in the right spot, but I think it looks pretty good. But that's it for this week, and that's probably the last you'll see of the Rodeo. If you'd like to buy it, I think it will be for sale quite shortly, so hit me up in the comments or on Instagram. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.